You know, Maya, one of the greatest things about the Capital Region is the diversity of the downtowns.
That's true. Broadway in quaint Saratoga Springs has a completely different feel from Broadway in Albany's Warehouse District.
And yet, there's one brewery that operates on both. Druthers Brewing Company. Started by three brothers working in law, finance, and marketing, each had unique skills they knew would go well together in family business.
And what better business to take on than one they'd rather be doing? Brewing beer.
We're standing outside Druthers' Broadway location in Albany's newly revitalized Warehouse District. Right over my shoulder, you can see the city's beloved 28-foot dog, Nipper, sitting on top of the former RCA building. Throughout the 1900s, Nipper and a gramophone served as a logo for a number of audio recording brands. As a handsome pup and definitely worth a picture, but these days, people come to the Warehouse District for the burgeoning bar and restaurant scene. Let's go into Druthers Brewing Company and take a taste for ourselves. You'd probably never know by looking at it, but this gorgeous brew pub was once a plumbing supply warehouse. Brothers Brian, Chris, and Scott Martell opened their first location on Broadway in Saratoga Springs in 2012, but it wasn't easy.
In 2007, my brother Brian and I came up with the idea to launch a brewery. I just love the concept of a brew pub. I love the feel of it, the handcrafted food paired with the handcrafted beer. So here we are in 2007. My brother's working on Wall Street. You know, everything's starting to go downhill. And I said, why don't we do something we love? You know, something that we really enjoy doing. And at the time, we had been homebrewing for about 5-6 years. We were talking about location. You know, I'd love to put it in Saratoga. There's no brew pub right there. We grew up here, but I do need it to be on Broadway and I need an open space. And he kind of said, you know, no, that doesn't exist. 2 days later, I'm walking down Broadway and there's a guy on a big ladder and he's nailing a for sale sign onto this building on Broadway. And right next to the building is this little white gate. I look over the gate and it was completely overgrown, but all I needed was grass at that point. Something that I could envision turning into a beer garden. The property was twice what we could pay. As we're walking out, my wife said to me, all right, well, we can cross this off the list. And I looked at her and I said, you know, this is it. And we're gonna do it here.
But in 2009, the U.S. economy was in the depths of the Great Recession, and securing a loan was nearly impossible.
I had one bank, I mean, in the 12 that turned us down, actually say to me, so what would this be good as if it wasn't a restaurant? When you fail, like, what could we sell this as?
The brothers invested everything they had into the business, and their passion convinced other backers to come along as well. That choice to keep pursuing their dream despite the risk is reflected in the company name.
The Druthers name came from the choice to go and do this. You're quitting your jobs, you're putting your retirement funds, everything that you have is going into this. And it was a John Wayne quote, and it was, if I had my druthers, and it's a conjugation of I'd rather, it's druthers. If I had my druthers, I'd be doing exactly what I'm doing right now.
When Druthers finally did open on August 1st, 2012, it became an overnight success. The location gamble had paid off.
Our gate in the front of Druthers in Saratoga, it says Druthers across the top, and a lot of people walk by and have no idea what it is. But they just see the entire patio is packed, and then they come in and most of them become regulars.
Their beer became so popular that demand quickly outstripped supply. The brothers opened their second location in 2015 in the Warehouse District in Albany, both to serve a new crowd and to increase the scale of their brewing operations. But it's not just about the beer. The owners take great pride in their menu as well, which features a wide variety of hearty fare from wood-fired pizza to award-winning mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese and beer just kind of pair themselves together, in my opinion. It's probably the best you can get in the entire world. I'm gonna go worldwide on it. It's phenomenal, it really is. And our chefs spent a lot of time trying to come up with a recipe. We changed it multiple times to get to where we are now, and I just think it's perfect.
And how is the beer, you ask? Well, chemist turned brewer and co-owner George DePiero has already won a gold medal for a particular kind of sour beer called a Goza. This one is named the Dare. I caught up with George to talk about the sour beer craze sweeping the region and to discuss the company's plans for the future. So this is the Double Dare Goza. This is the double version of one of your flagships, which is the Dare Goza.
The Double Dare Goza is a German-style sour ale with a twist. And this particular keg has two twists. The first twist is that it's almost twice as strong as a normal Goza. Gozas are normally 4.5 to 5% alcohol, and this is 8.5 to 9. The next twist is that we dry hopped a bunch of kegs individually. So this keg is dry hopped with Citra and Amarillo, and it gives it a really, it accentuates the already citrus characters of this beer.
Yeah.
And gives it a real grapefruit kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a lemon presence in there because of the tartness, but then the grapefruit is delicious.
Right, most people haven't tasted a sour beer before.
Right.
And they need to be warned that your first sip of this is going to be wacky. I think it's really critical to keep the sourness at a nice, reasonable level, in balance with the other flavors in the beer. You should never be drinking salad dressing. This is all lactic acid that's doing this. The bacteria I use make lactic acid, the same acid that's in yogurt. It's a much gentler sourness on your palate. It doesn't burn your throat. And that allows the malt flavors to come through also.
The sourness is actually very refreshing and crisp. It's not just to drink a sour bomb. It's
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great summer beer. This is a really big space,
Yep.
but it looks like there's space for more.
Yes.
Part of the vision is growth. here.
Right. Yeah, we have room in here to put in a bunch more tanks and hopefully a bottling line.
That's great. And so this supplies both locations to some degree of beer.
Right.
And then you're also sending beer to bars in the region.
Right. My salesman told me that last month we sold 156 accounts.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm really pleased.
Yeah.
We're more successful than our business plan said we would be.
That's a good place to be.
It is. It's
Yeah.
a much better place to be than discussing who's going to represent you in bankruptcy. So that's so we're happy.
Yeah, that's great. George, thank you very much for inviting us into your brewery today.
Thank you for coming.